Spinoza's God, nature, or something more. Baruch Spinoza, the 17th century Dutch philosopher, still casts a long, intriguing shadow over modern thought, largely due to his revolutionary and, for his time, deeply heretical concept of God. Forget the image of a benevolent, white-bearded patriarch sitting on a distant cloud, occasionally intervening in human affairs like a cosmic stage manager. Spinoza's God, laid out meticulously in his Ethics, is a profoundly different entity, one that he famously encapsulated in the Latin phrase Deus sive Natura, God or nature. But to stop there is to miss the radical subtlety of his vision. Was Spinoza merely equating God with the trees, the rivers, and the stars, or was he pointing toward a far more complex, all-encompassing reality? At first glance, the equation seems straightforwardly pantheistic. God is nature. The world is not God's creation, distinct from him and made from nothing, ex nihilo. The world is God's own necessary expression, an unfolding of his infinite being. The mountains, the law of gravity, the emotions we feel, these are not things made by God, but modes and attributes of God. He argues that there can only be one substance in the universe, an absolute, self-caused, causa sui, infinite and eternal being. This substance is God. If anything else existed outside of God, that thing would limit God, rendering him finite, which is a logical contradiction for an infinite being. Therefore, everything that exists is necessarily contained within God. This single substance, this one reality, is what Spinoza calls both God and nature. However, the nature in Deus sive Natura is not the nature of a botanist or a meteorologist. It's a technical, metaphysical term loaded with far greater significance. Spinoza distinguishes between two aspects of this singular divine substance. Natura naturans, nature naturing. This is the active, creative, and eternal aspect of God. It is God as the ultimate self-generating cause. It is the infinite, immutable essence and power that constitutes the totality of existence, but which is not perceivable in individual, temporary things. Think of it as the original, unconditioned, dynamic force, the potential and power behind all reality. It's the inherent logical necessity that dictates why things must be as they are and no other way. This is the infinite intellect and will of God, though stripped of anthropomorphic intention. Natura naturata, nature natured. This is the passive, created, and manifested aspect of God. It consists of all the finite, temporary things, the modes, we can actually perceive. Your body, this article, the feeling of love, the speed of light. They are the effects, the expressions, the conclusions of the logical necessity found in Natura naturans. The individual tree is Natura naturata, the divine universal law that dictates how the tree must grow, breathe, and decay is Natura naturans. The manifested world is simply the eternal, infinite substance expressing itself under its infinite attributes. Beyond the physical, the infinite attributes. Here is where Spinoza's God truly separates himself from mere physical pantheism. We, as human beings, perceive God, nature, under only two of its infinite attributes: extension, the physical spatial world, and thought, mind, consciousness, ideas. Spinoza insists that the divine substance actually possesses an infinite number of attributes, of which extension and thought are just two. We cannot conceive of the others, as our finite minds are limited by the modes we inhabit. Therefore, while our common understanding of nature typically covers the physical attribute of extension, Spinoza's God contains infinite, unimaginable realities beyond our physical world, beyond our thought, and beyond our ability to conceive. This is the crucial twist. Spinoza's God is infinitely more than the physical universe we inhabit. The physical universe is just one of an infinite number of ways God's infinite power and essence are expressed. He is not just the nature we see. He is the infinite, logical ground of all possible reality, perceived and unperceived. Freedom and determinism in Spinoza's God. In Spinoza's system, God acts solely out of the necessity of his own nature. There is no free will, no choice, no purposeful design in the traditional sense. God doesn't choose to create the world, he is the world, and everything follows from his essence with the same logical necessity that the sum of angles in a triangle must equal 180 degrees. This eliminates miracles and teleology, purposeful design entirely. Everything that happens because it must happen. True human freedom for Spinoza is not the ability to choose against necessity, but the intellectual love of God, amor intellectualis Dei, the joyful, rational understanding of this necessary order. To understand God/nature is to understand why things are as they are, which is the highest form of human contentment and virtue. Ultimately, Spinoza's God is not merely the sum of created things, but the infinitely powerful, self-sustaining, and eternal logical reality that contains and necessitates all things. It is a deeply intellectual and austere God, devoid of personality, but overflowing with a kind of sublime, impersonal perfection. It is both the simplest concept, one substance, and the most complex, that substance having infinite, unimaginable attributes. If this deep dive into the nature of reality and the ultimate being has piqued your curiosity, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video to help others discover this fascinating philosophical perspective, and subscribe for more explorations into the ideas that shape our world. Your engagement truly helps the channel thrive.